would our world look like if we all came together? The ones that's on this journey with the mindset transformation, like we're looking to see how we can level up in our heart, level up in our nervous system, like really find the calm space there to learn to open up our voice, be in alignment more with perhaps the way we speak and have conversation with our clients, to our loved ones. I would think about, how am I showing up when I'm talking to my husband? Am I truly in alignment with not blaming and shaming? And I just did a conversation about that this morning. If we're all in aligned with what our purpose is here in life, and we could be in discovery, it's okay. But if we keep healing within, breathing, listening to our nervous system, what's stressing us out, being really the expert in our body by just focusing in our nerves jittery. How are we feeling today? When we get to know that stuff, massive things start happening. I call this hashtag speaker locking arms. If we open our voice and we stop the blaming and shaming that we see out there and inside ourselves, then what perhaps could happen? And that's what we're doing here in these interviews as a collective, is we're all partnering, and we're all partnering together. You do not have to be a speaker or someone that's running a podcast. This is for you if you feel like you've been shut down and you're learning more about your body and you're ready to open up, or you have been opening up, but you're looking for that next level. My name is Rhonda Liebig. I'm the host and producer of Fresh Talks Global Vision. And I want to welcome in Dianne Callahan. Dianne, so nice to see you here.
Hi, Rhonda. We've been trying to get this on the calendar for a long time, and I'm just so glad to be here with you.
I love that you've been talking about your journey for so long, and I'm so happy we are here. And you are very busy, so we're going to talk about the book that you are getting out there next week. We're going to talk about what your higher purpose is. When I look at your LinkedIn, I see so many wonderful things. And first off, I love the colors that you're using here. It's like, just these blues and reds. Because I think it's just so vibrant. And that's why I have my red lipstick on, because I decided to wear black. But I got some blue here also. And color is so informative of how, how we're feeling for the day. So I'm just so excited to have you here. So what we have here, when you go to Dianne's LinkedIn, you'll see 4-time cancer survivor, best-selling author, keynote speaker, and this is on journey through illness and grace and humor. Oh my gosh, I love humor. Empowering leaders with unshakable confidence. I can feel that in your energy, Dianne. We were together in a group yesterday, and the vibrant space you hold, and the laugh and the giggle and the full energy that you have. I really appreciate you being here and being able to share your journey. Can you share, like, why you're here? Like, what's this purpose for this conversation that you're feeling for today?
Well, what you said at the top of our time together about feeling shut down, feeling alone, feeling like there's something missing, all those things. I was absolutely in that place, probably now 27 years ago, in my first marriage. And we had a lot of fun, but that husband, he would say some really mean things to me. And I share some of them in one of my main keynotes about unshakable confidence and leading from that place. But you have to get back to that place, right? Because we're programmed to be fully aware of our worth and value and be confident in that. But then the world erodes that down. And then I was in a marriage that literally eroded me to the point where I stood in my bathroom one Sunday afternoon and held a gun to my head and was about to pull the trigger. And I share that because a lot of people think I'm confident and happy, and I am. I'm all those things. But I had to get there again. I had to rebuild that with actual strategies and what I put in my brain and what I put in my heart and what I looked at and who I allowed to be in my space. And it took years to reclaim that confidence. And now I'm fully there. and I feel like a kid, like a little 5-year-old with a Superman t-shirt. I'm like, that's right. I'm confident. And I'm just driven to try to help people, whether it be in coaching or workshops or keynote speaking, for them to find the way back to their own God-given, innate, early programming of confidence and self-value and joy. And so it's so meaningful because so many people are walking around damaged, right? We're all damaged in lots of ways. And have you heard of the theory of the second arrow?
No, I don't think so. Please share with our audience.
It's a Buddhist, it comes from Buddhist theology, I guess, where if someone hurts you, that's the first arrow, right? They shot an arrow at you and now you're wounded. Yeah. But what we do is we often wound ourselves a second time. We shoot ourselves from what we think with the second arrow. So for instance, all of those things that my first husband would say, like, get your fat ass upstairs, or I'm embarrassed to be seen with you, or I was interviewing for a really big job and I called him right before I went in and he said, don't worry, nobody hires a fat woman for a job like that. And by the way, I got the job. But talk about being torn down, right? So those are all like the first arrows. But what I did to myself with the second arrows is I said, yeah, he's right. Or I would think, like he would say, literally no man wants to be seen with someone who looks like you. It's just not a thing, Yeah. And then I would say, yeah, no man would want to be seen with me. Yeah. First arrow, second arrow. And we do that over anything, right? Because then we get up in our head and we start accepting that kind of negative
I love where
thing.
you're going, Dianne. I love where you're going with this. Let me give a step back here because you have so much information that it is but it's smoothly going. I could stop right there and just ask another question. Let's move forward. Let's back up a little bit here. Like what you said, we are doing our work every day. Like we work with people that know that they're high performers and that they just, they just have this theme in their head and their vision, and that work is all great. But if you are still, we all are looking at ourselves and finding, these things that slow us down, like, oh my God, I'm feeling this. You can have a moment of feeling smallness because you're elevating yourself. Maybe you're having a hard day. Maybe something major is happening in your life. So if we're talking about the people and the atmosphere in your life, I want to talk about this because this is where the damage happens. You can see somebody just looking beautifully perfect out there, not on the exterior, because that always just kind of naturally goes once you start really opening up your space and learning more about yourself, because the beauty aligns. It's the aura that you're living in. You're never a fat ass. You're never, like, the exterior does not have what this aura beauty space can really hold. So if you have somebody in your life that has things that are so abusive, they don't even realize they're doing it. They just know they're angry, and so they think it's okay to treat you like that.
Yeah.
Can you share with me that point? Because we're talking about that we have the first arrow, second arrow, and then coming back at us, especially when we're at that low stage. What is it that if you do find that you're in a space that you are getting those arrows put at you, and you kind of wake up and you go, I heard this conversation that Dianne Callahan said, here, I have that second arrow and I'm not able to get out of it. What are the things that you're noticing when you're coaching and you're talking to people that you really talk about that space, that pivotal point where you finally start hearing that and going, it's time for me to get out of this, or it's time for me to create more energy of the people that are like-minded, like me, not the people that I'm around. Where's that pivot point? What do you feel happens in that area?
Well, I think that the challenge is for all of us, mine 27 years ago, all of us, the challenge is to believe that we have a choice, right? This is the basis of optimism. So, I post a lot of optimistic, positive, joy-filled things on my social media and stuff. And I've had people come back to me saying, this is all toxic positivity. And at first it was an arrow. I let it be an arrow, like, they just shot me and I'm trying to do good and trying to be helpful. But then I realized that the idea of something being toxic is where you hold poison inside of you until it has toxicity, right? So like not allowing yourself to walk through the fact that that hurt, the fact that you're in pain, the fact that you're in struggle, the fact that life sucks sometimes, right? Okay, all of that is true. But what I want to help people do, clients or people in audiences, is recognize their power. You know that song, I got the power. We all have the power.
I'm ready to do it.
Right?
That dance makes you feel so good.
I know. And it's because it's so true. It's not just a jam, it's a reality. We each have the power to decide what we're going to believe and what we're going to do. So, but what I see as a challenge with some people that I've talked with is that they do not believe they have any choices. This is the life. This is this is how it is. This is, blah, blah, blah. And, the arrows come quick, and then I give myself second arrows all the time. And this is just how my life is. And I haven't cracked the code for this yet, for how to help people who literally believe they don't have a lot of choice. They don't have a lot of options. What I do try to do is talk about intentions then. Yeah. Maybe you're not there yet with belief, but you can then decide your intentions. You can decide that you want to have a good day, right? You wake up, brush your teeth. I want this to be a good day. I really do. I want it to be good. Keep thinking that, right? Yeah. Then you can allow that to guide you. So you're on the freeway going to work, and you get cut off by some jerk, right? And you want to be mad, or you get in a traffic jam and you're going to be late and you want to be mad. I mean, obviously we get all, bent out of shape. Yeah. But what you could do is say, wait a minute. I said, I want this to be a good day. So I'm not going to let this traffic jam or that guy mess up my good day. I might be a little bit late. I can call him and tell him. But I'm not going to allow, I'm going to have armor so that arrow can't come in. And then you get to work, and then you work with some people you love, and you work with some people you don't love. Yeah. And you're going to decide that you're going to minimize your interactions with the ones you don't love as much as you can. Maximize your interactions, the one that you do love, that bring positivity. And whatever the ones that you don't love, whatever they're doing, you're just going to observe. Look at them being a jerk again. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I see you. Move on. Because you decided, you haven't made it to the point where you decide that you have all the options, all the choices, but you've decided for that day. Yeah. And that guides your behavior. And I'll tell you what, you do that 5 days, you do that the next work week, you do that a month, 2 months, then you get into the neuroscience of things, which is you've built a new neural pathway where your brain is actively looking to push away the negative things and actively looking to go beep, beep, bring them in, the positive things. And so you trained your brain.
I love this. Okay, so we're talking about changing your frequency, but there's not this pressure of you have to show up this way because this is going to make the change for you in your life, and you're not throwing it in at them, because that's where the anxiety lies. It's I want to have that, but it's the awareness. I go back to this stat about that we say 70,000 words to ourselves a day. 80% of that is known to be negative, which I think that's the general population. But
the most of that
on the mindset stuff, it's going to be less than that. But 90% of that is being said over and over and over. And you're like, oh, okay, let's don't fight this. Let's let you know, okay, you're already having that. That's okay. But let's go in. I like the incremental steps, because those are baby steps. And then they get to start hearing subconscious things that are going on. And you're saying, you're doing right, you're doing good, and things are going to happen. But incrementally, things are going to get better, because, the neuroplasticity, the way the brain works. And Dianne, I also think about the nervous system, that makes us sick, because we're in a toxic situation. It can be work where there's somebody specific or a few people and you're getting hurt over and over and over again. But your process that you're talking about is, okay, I can think of that as hurt, but I can find the up level here. I can see you. I see your toxicity. Okay, I'm going to go over here. And then I think of this as like mindset transformation, entertainment, that all of a sudden you're getting entertained by what's going on. And all of a sudden things start getting a little bit lighter because you're seeing a shift that you actually feel like you have more control over your atmosphere. So I see this happening. Okay, so now we are on the space where things are getting better and better and better. When you get somebody to that point, because I mean, they're most likely already coaching with you, or you're in this audience, you know, on stage, sharing with them these steps, and then they can actually start seeing that vision. What's the next thing that usually happens that you see that they start internally doing, like with the dialogue that they have for themselves, or maybe showing up physically in a different way? Maybe they're dressing different, but how do you start recognizing your client, or you see a shift in the audience where you start seeing this, their aura start growing, their smiles, and they're like, I'm leaning in, Dianne, I'm leaning in. So what is that you start seeing? You go, oh, they're moving forward.
Yes. Well, let me say this. When we work on ourselves, it's the deepest, best work we can do for ourselves, for our family, and for the world, right? And but when we're working on positive things for ourselves, we don't get like a certificate usually, or we don't walk across a stage and in a cap and gown. We don't have these like markers that say, I did this, right?
Yeah.
So what I encourage my clients and people I work with to do is to look for like mileposts, like to be aware and looking, right? Not just like to notice it when it happens, but be looking for them. So for instance, say there's someone that you work with that you're always kind of with, right? And if you've been working on this, like, let me just observe. I don't have to be in it. It's not my thing. I can just sit back a little bit. At some point, you're going to have this moment where you're like, wow, a couple months ago, I would have been all about it. And in fact, I would have been over at Sue's office saying, can you believe? And this time I'm just like, that's how he is. That's what he's up to. I'm not about it. And in your mind, you're like, I totally did that different than I would have done if I hadn't been thinking and focusing. And that's a milestone. That's a mile marker in your journey to more joy in your life and letting go of carrying all that, and that's one thing that that's a challenge, because some of the people I know, they're ruminators. So they get all up in here. They're like, I can't believe he said that. And that tone. And I have people in my life who repeat that story so often to so many different audiences, people, that I hear it word for word. It's just like, now etched into your brain. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is, and all of the brain science proves that is so bad for us. So in fact, complaining is so bad for us. Even listening to someone complain, like say, Rhonda, say you're like, I need to vent, like you're a client. I just need to vent. I need to talk about it. And they're all passionate and high vibe about it, right? But not positive vibe. And they're going on and on about it. Even me listening to you for 30 minutes or less, even, that changes my neuroplasticity and makes an impact in me. Yeah. And so, and obviously it's a negative impact for you. And so recognizing that, reading about it, reading the science about it, in the last couple of years, I've been like, I'm not the person to talk to if that's the conversation, because I know that it's not good for the person, and I know it's not good for me. Yeah. So,
and we have to be careful with the rooms we're walking into, and the space that you're holding there is having that structure built in, like what you're saying. You're like, I'm not going to listen to this. Let's redirect it. Let's however you do it. So I want to get to your book, but I want to talk more about that thing about celebration. We miss it so much. You said that's important to do. What does a celebration look like for you? Is there a process that you do, or you're just saying, okay, let's dance? I'm like, what does that mean for them to stop and actually feel it, so they can feel it, because that's where they're going to go down, because they're going to see that, oh yeah, whatever, and they're going to see what's not working, or they're going to stop and celebrate. So what is that called? How do you do that with people to get them like focused and playing?
It's an awareness, right? So what it is intentionality, looking for things to celebrate, right? Yeah. It's being on the lookout, an APB for celebration things, right? All points bulletin, be on the lookout. So it's training yourself to do that, right? So even like in our work world, say we took an online course and we, passed it, and we have that under our belt now. We're like, okay, moving on, because we're so busy, right? But maybe you should post that out on social media. Maybe you should actually print out the certificate. Maybe you should say, I'm really proud of myself. I gained this thing, right? And so I think that we have a huge tendency to just keep on going. Life is busy. We know that. I mean, I get sort of tired of that word. Life is so busy. There's no time for anything. You know what? There's time for anything that you want to be time for. Even if you're just thinking good thoughts while you go to the bathroom, brush your teeth, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So I also like to say that it's really important to believe, again, with believe, that more than one thing can be true at the same time. So you could be in a really tough season of your life, going through cancer maybe, or something, right? Going through a loss. And it's probably some of the worst time of your life. And that's true. But it's also true that the sun is shining brightly today, and the flowers that are growing out there are gorgeous. It's also true that I have a 2.5-year-old granddaughter who is the light of my life. So if you can remind yourself of other truths in the midst of, a truth that you wish you didn't have, you can believe that more things can be possible at the same time. So I say, how you see those memes that say romanticize your life, take the pictures, okay. So let me say this. I had a very good friend. Her name's Carolyn, and she taught us, we have a group of girlfriends. We all used to work in the same industry, and we call ourselves the Sophias because we want to age like Sophia Loren, right? So we're the Sophias. That was her. She named us. Well, she passed away way too young. But she lived, man. She served pizza on china plates and drank Diet Coke out of a champagne flute. She dressed up for things. She burned her candles. You know how a lot of us don't even burn them because we don't want them to be all, bent. Yeah. At one point, she decided that she's just going to start taking her retirement money really early. And we're all like, girl, you're on your own. I mean, that's like not what's considered the smartest plan, right? Yeah. You're supposed to wait as long as you possibly can so you can get $3 more a month. And she's like, no, I think it's good. I think I need to do this. And, 2 years later or so, she had passed away. And we're like, so who's the fools now? Right? So that's what I try to impress on people. Don't wait. My motto is live urgently, meaning I write about it in my book too, but meaning like you should live as if your hours are finite, because they are. And I don't know what your date is, your expiration date. I don't know what mine is, but we do know there is one. So if there's something that needs to be said, you better get to saying it. If there's something you dream of doing, you better get to doing it, even in little teeny steps, even in little, even if it seems impossible.
Yeah.
You got to get to it because this is your life.
I'm so into that, Dianne. I watched the sunrise and I'm like, wow, so powerful, because it's painted different every day. And that's a connection of doing it. Maybe 10 years I started doing this stuff where I was doing it every day, and then almost every day. And then I have the sunset over here. And when you start looking at that, those bookmarks, you're like, here, wait, another day is gone. And like an event that you were looking to do, like a year ago, or, like 5 days, and all of a sudden it's just there. And you're like, here, wait, but there was a time when that was like a year that I was looking at that now. And then it was 5 days. And it's like, here, wait, this is moving really fast. So in
Right.
that fiery kind of ball that we got going here, let's bridge that gap of when you start recognizing that every moment means something. Can you get that energy into this book that you're releasing? Like, what does this mean with all the information you shared with how and why this book was created, in what you want out of this when people are reading it? Like, what's the why? What's the feeling of the urgency?
Well, so this is the book, Journey Through Illness, the ultimate guidebook for a trip you never thought you'd take. And that's a little bit of a fallacy, because according to the American Cancer Society, if you live long enough, 1 in 3 women and 1 in 2 men will have some kind of cancer. And a lot of us have had some kind of other life-threatening thing, right?
Yeah.
Meaning that pretty much all of us are going to be on a journey through illness at some time in our life, whether it's us, whether it's we're, journeying alongside someone that we love, whether we're supporting someone we work with. I mean, you can't really get away from it, it seems. So the idea about writing this book was, I really wanted to create, there's a lot of great books out there about people's cancer stories and cancer journeys. I wanted to create something that would literally be a guidebook. Like, how do I do this? People ask me that all the time. 4 times, how? I don't think I could ever do it. And I'm like, well, there's a point where you don't really have an option. There's either do or die. I mean, not to be too tongue in cheek, but, and so you end up finding the strength right when you need it. So I wanted to encourage people to not live like any day you're going to get a diagnosis or any day the sky's going to fall, but in acceptance and in honor of the fact that things go wrong in life, right? Car accidents happen. I mean, things happen. And so how do we pack for a journey like this? And it's not about what you put in your backpack. It's about acceptance and a sense of humor and your friendships that you invest in now, not transactionally, like I might need a friend down the road, but I mean, they're your joy and your support. So we talk about things like that. We talk about who you might meet on the journey. It's all this prep, right? We talk about what the journey of the caregiver is like, which is really hard. We talk about, like, if you ever go on a trip that you're planning for, you start to think about, like, what are the souvenirs I might bring back, right? Last year we were in Bali and we brought some beautiful things back to remind us of that amazing island, right?
Yeah.
And then it gets into, like, how do I make sure that I'm living my life, that the life I want to? And that's where my live urgently comes in, right? And so I wanted to have an offering, basically, from all of the stuff I've been through the last 18 years.
Yeah.
Here's what this one person thinks you should know. And I wrote it because I want to be helpful and hopeful to people. And I want to encourage people to show up for joy. Even in the hard times, even if you can't show up and stay the whole time, but just try to show up for joy, because when, joy is like a little dragonfly. She just flits and floats, and she's not always right there with you, but when she's right here with you, be there. Yeah. Show up for the joy. So that was the whole intention of the book.
Yeah. And I hear this theme around joy, and we were talking about, the brain and the latest stuff out there. We're talking about your nervous system. And so when you are not doing well, and we were talking about emotional stuff, and we're talking about the cancer journey, we're talking about other illnesses that you really need that extra support. In all those stages, this is wonderful to have support. I love that you have that book out there, because it helps people get real. And if you haven't had cancer before, you haven't been along a journey with somebody, I think that book is really important when it speaks to truly about life. These moments of, like, being by the bedside and helping and being, being the person you're taking care of them, you could think of that as anything that you are really actually trying to nurture and you're concerned about, like, is that going to go away? Because right now I'm just scared. And I can tell every step of the way could be somebody else's story in a different situation, but knowing that you're talking about live right here and now, find the joy in everything, because that supports the nervous system, helps those million cells that come in a day. We have 74 trillion cells. So we're looking at, like, how can we heal that body in a way that you have support all around you, from doctors, from your holistic journey, to really, if this are your last hours here on earth, how can you do that in a way that you go, all right, I'm finding the joy around the people around me, and what all the experiences that you had. So I can't wait for that book to come out. We'll make sure that we get the links that we need. Anything else that you want to share before motivation, a story, as we clip off for the time being with you? And I really appreciate you being here with us.
Oh, thank you. Well, I will point out, I can't really point, but my first book back there is called Lighthearted Life, Simple Strategies to Live a Joy-Filled Life, Even in Stormy Times. And it's all science-backed strategies around gratitude and things like that. It's a great book. My oncologist wrote the foreword for it. And the reason I bring it up is because he literally wrote in that foreword that when you come to a fight for your life, a journey through life-threatening illness, positivity is part of the treatment plan, right? I mean, they can't tell you, be more positive, but he's found that those patients who work on, showing up for the joy, trying to have a positive outlook, their ability to withstand their treatment and their longevity goes up. And so there's science behind this. And this book, Journey Through Illness, so excited because the foreword was written by Dr. Lou DeGennaro, who was the CEO of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. He's retired now because it took me a while to get this book written. But he talks about the same thing. I mean, it's well known that positivity, that trying, and I'm not saying you have to be Susie Sunshine every day. I'm definitely not saying be toxic and push down your real truth, but I'm saying try to look for something joyful and good that you can hold on to. And that is good in a journey through illness, but it's good every single day of your life. It's going to improve how you experience this beautiful life that you've been given.
Yeah.
And how people experience you.
Dianne Callahan, thank you for being here. Thank you for being very present, being able to share the ups and downs and just general life and how the mind can take you in all different variations. Speaking about people that are in your life, that can lead to some type of chronic disease, illness, feeling pain in your body, being distraught and not really showing up for, we know we all have a purpose here, whatever it is, whatever you find right here and now, the better people that are out there supporting us and back and forth and really seeing the true us, not talking about our physicality and that what you were saying, like having to hear that word, like the phrase fat ass, it's like, oh my gosh, like, so I love this flow that we had today, because this is truth. This is what we see. And we can see this in marriages. We can see this even as we're raising our kids, or we're doing all these different things that our partner can get distraught. And you're like, okay, you were a nice person, and now we're going through this because of a certain situation. But it gives you the opportunity to not go back and say, well, that person used to be nice, so I'll let it be, and I must be this way, because that's what they're saying. You start realizing the more that you up level in your journey and experience, where you shared some ways to actually start seeing that incrementally, you'll start coming with your compass and realizing that nobody ever treats me that way. So this conversation.
What did Taylor Swift say lately? Just recently, she said something like, you need to live like being around you is expensive, because it is. Wow. You're valuable.
Well, okay, Dianne, I want to add on to that, because I had this past client that was coming to see me to want to do lunch and just different things. And I was like, I don't really like this person. And it was a conversation of maybe I want to work with you, but it's not now, it's not this or whatever. And what I started recognizing is that I really liked this person, but I got really frustrated. And I go, not because she was not working with me, but I saw this hour and a half of lunch that it was that I exude a certain energy just from practice every hour to 2 hours every day to really get myself set and to know that there's a purpose for this being me, that I get to be here and do this, not in the brain and the ego, but like I'm just trying to take care of myself the best I can. And all of a sudden I was like, I can't be with this person anymore. I can't go do lunches because they got an hour and a half of a vibe that I exude. And so it's like your energy is expensive, and it's expensive giving your energy and not that flow back, that cohesiveness, that you're not in the right space. Even if somebody seems very, very nice, but they are not taking it serious. They're saying, let's get together because of something. You realize, oh my gosh, I just love my energy. And they just get to level up, but they're not really saying what they want this conversation to be about. So there's all these different angles we're talking about, but I love it. Dianne, you're opening our eyes as we go through this, 30 plus minutes. So I appreciate you. This is some really good stuff, my friend.
This was amazing. Thank you, Rhonda, my friend.
You're welcome. Thank you. And I love and appreciate you. Go get the book. We'll make sure the links are there and the information. I love you. Fresh Talks Global Vision. Let's keep locking arms. Let's keep opening our voice. Let's keep getting in alignment. And that alignment, we don't know exactly what that is every day. But when you feel your nervous system calm and the breathing, and you can just feel your expensiveness. That's what Dianne, I love that said, but that's true. Like, because you feel like nothing can hurt you because you're in control, and somebody can say something, but it bounces off because you feel like a queen. So I love you, everybody. I appreciate you. I love you. Hashtag speaker locking arms. Namaste. Have a wonderful, fabulous day. Keep the mindset transformation entertainment going, which we've trademarked. We do need to have that entertainment in our mind, being able to do that vision so we feel safe, so that we can make those changes and keep leveling up. We need your energy, your positive power, so we keep changing and transforming for the people that are seeking this. Love you. Bye-bye.